Hi everybody, Susan Davis from New Hopes Nutrition here. So today I'm going to make a whole wheat bread. So I've got all my ingredients here. It's about 675 grams of whole wheat flour, and for this I'm going to use some active yeast, so that goes directly into the flour. And then add in 1 teaspoon of salt. There we are. I'm going to use some poppy seeds, so I've got about 40 grams of poppy seeds there, and I'm going to put some raisins in there, so that's 60 grams of raisins. And so I've got some really nice tepid water, so it's very comfortable, just feels warm. That's important to keep the right temperature for the yeast. And to help activate that, I'm just going to add a little bit of molasses, muscovado sugar. There we are. Let's get that in there. About 1 teaspoonful. Do a little mix. Okay, so I've got my flour in there. A little bit, let's get it started. Melt that sugar. 1 tablespoon of oil. Actually, I want to mix the yeast in first. Mix the yeast in the flour. There we are. I'll make a hole in the middle. 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm using olive oil. There we are. And to add in my water. I just need to stop the thing so I can grab a spoon. Okay, pour the water in the well. It's about a pound of water. Now we're just going to mix it to combine and start making it into a dough. So if you've come to your last slice of bread, and at the moment the shops and supermarkets are running low on bread, whenever I go to a supermarket they don't seem to have any in stock. So if you've got some flour, wholemeal flour, you can make this recipe. I'll be out doing other baked goods at home as well, and next week I'm waiting for a flour delivery for gluten-free flours, so I'll be starting some gluten-free baking as well. So just bring your dough together like this. I actually haven't done baking with gluten flours for a very, very long time. I've been doing gluten-free baking for many, many years now. My daughter doesn't like gluten-free products, so I thought I'll make this make a regular bread, like wholemeal bread. So once the dough comes together, what you're going to do is pop it on the table. Now, what's nice about using whole wheat flour is you got all the nutrients from the grain in there, so it's rich in B vitamins, and it's also really great source of fibre for your digestive system. I know many people may not be able to tolerate wheat that well, however we're all different, and some of us can eat this food, especially if it's good quality flour and if your bread is made properly. I'm just going to keep kneading this. If it gets a little bit sticky and it starts sticking to the table too much, I'll be adding a little bit more flour to it. But as long as I can move that, I don't want to sort of add anything else to it. So what's important about this, we're just kneading it to kind of work the gluten in there and give it more stretch and strength. And then once I've kneaded it for about 5 to 10 minutes, once I've got a nice smooth dough, I'm going to pop it back in the bowl, and I'm going to cover it with a cling film and a cloth, and I shall leave it somewhere warm to raise. So once it's doubled in bulk, I'll be knocking it back again, kneading it one more time, and then I shall pop it in on a tray or baking container, get ready to go in the oven. So this is looking really nice now, as you can see. just moving it, like folding it over. It's looking like a really nice dough. If you want to vary the recipe, you could try it with some herbs. You can add to that nuts and seeds. I've used poppy seeds. I'm actually using a recipe from the Leeds Cookery Bible, which was one of the very first cooking books that I bought when I came to this country to live few years ago. But it's a really good reference book in terms of reliable baking recipes. And the core author, Prue Leith, as we know, has been on the television in the recent years in it's the MasterChef, not the MasterChef, I can't remember the chef's cooking program basically. Anyway, so she knows how to cook. So this is coming along really nicely, and actually if you've never made bread before and you think like, oh, you haven't got those ingredients, you could just make it with whole wheat flour. Of course you'd need the yeast, but it doesn't matter if you don't have the poppy seeds. That's just like another layer of flavour. You can just make it with whole wheat flour, and it's quite therapeutic making bread. Really, I used to love baking. Kind of missed it, so this is a good excuse for me to make some nice real bread, shall we say, with the real flour. There we are. This is coming along nicely. Very good. I think that's enough kneading. It's come together really nicely. Just pop it in the original bowl. No need to take another one. Just gotta let it sit there. You can drizzle it with a bit of olive oil. It's not essential, but you can do that. And then this is going to be now covered with cling film, and then cover it with a cloth. I'll leave it somewhere nice and warm to proof. Once it's doubled in size, we'll come back to it, and we'll knead it and put it in a container or a tray ready for baking. So I've left my dough to proof. It actually took about 2 hours. It's particularly cold today, so I'd like to put it on the heated clothes rack and cover it up with blankets and stuff to help it double in bulk. So here we go. I'm going to give it another little bead. It's looking really nice. That's it. On the second kneading, we just knock out the air. And I'm not going to knead it too much. Just a little bit, stretching out those that gluten texture. And then I'll be shaping it. I thought I'll just leave it like an oval on the tray, and I want to coat it with a really nice thick layer of poppy seeds. So I'm going to just kind of roll it in poppy seeds. There's lots of techniques out there with regards to how to sort of fold and shape your dough. This is just the basic dough. We don't need to get too crazy about it. So the second, after you've proofed your dough the first time, and then you come back to it, you just you're locking out the air from there, and then you're sort of giving it another uniform texture by giving it a nice knead. I'm literally just folding it on itself, basically. Okay, so that should do. Maybe a little bit longer. sticking a bit, but that's fine. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly brush it with a little bit of, this is drinking type coconut milk. I want to get as much poppy seeds stuck on it as I possibly can. So that will give it hopefully a really nice crunch. And that's it. And that's in the tray, and now that's going to sit somewhere warm. I'm going to grease a little bit of cling film, and I'll lightly cover it, and that will sit till it's doubled in size, and then it'll be ready for baking. Okay, so the wholemeal bread is ready for the oven now. It's flopped a bit. I've actually forgot it. But so I'm putting it in a hot oven now, gas mark 7, for about 20 minutes, and then I shall be lowering the heat a little bit to probably about 5, and cook it for about 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. So we'll see what the end result will be. Okay, so the bread is out of the oven now. Just going to take it off the tray, and it's produced a rather flat bread because it's soft whole wheat flour. The way to check if your bread is ready, you just need to tap it on the base, and you will ideally looking for something that sounds a wee bit hollow. But I've kind of given up on this bread, and you can see my oven doesn't bake evenly. It's a small gas cooker, so it caught a little bit from here. When I try to put it on a low temperature, it tends to go off. So sometimes you just have to juggle with what you got. So I'll cut it in when it's cold, and I'll see what it's like. Not too bad. Nice soft texture. It'll go nice with some butter, maybe some cheese. Okay.